Markets with David Modell. Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. Today my special guest is Mr. Dan Reitzik. Mr. Reitzik is the CEO of DMG Blockchain Solutions. And their ticker symbol on the TSX-V markets is DMGI, as well as DMGGF on the United States markets. Mr. Reitzik, I appreciate your time today and welcome to Looking at the Markets.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I wanted to ask you some questions about the markets and particularly the crypto markets as I see them. Bank of America just sent a report to the U.S. regulators that their entire business model is in jeopardy since they can't compete with the cryptocurrencies that are able to transfer value globally with low fees and speed of transaction. So do you see traditional banking as obsolete?
No, I don't see it as obsolete. I think we'll always need banks in some form or another. When Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin and the underlying technology blockchain, it was a way to transfer value around the world from peer to peer without any third party or intermediaries. So the cost of transferring that value is obviously a lot less than the traditional banking model. But what banks need to do is embrace the underlying technology, blockchain, in order to improve efficiencies in their own industry. I think that the banks need to worry a lot more. They have more to worry about than cryptocurrency and blockchain. It's other basic fintech technologies is pure online payments like WePay Chat or WeChat Pay and Alipay. Peer-to-peer lending are already undercutting the banking business models. So cryptocurrency is just a fuel to the fire and just one of many catalysts for industry change.
Understood. Now, many banks are banning crypto purchases with credit cards. Is this, in your opinion, a declaration of war?
I think that it's too late for cryptocurrencies to be stopped by banks banning the use of cryptocurrencies or banning people purchasing using credit card tied to cryptocurrency. I think one of the main reasons the banks do that is for liability reasons. The crypto world is still very early, and until there's regulation and safeguards in place, I think the traditional banks are very risk averse. So I think it's more about liability than it is necessarily about trying to ban them. I think it's already too late to try and ban cryptocurrencies. Here we are talking about it. There's thousands of new coins that are generated with various different values. Bitcoin itself is all over the world now. We even have governments talking about different kinds of cryptocurrencies that they could develop and launch for various reasons. So I think it's more about liability with the banks and their aversion to cryptocurrencies right now.
Sure. You work directly with people in two of the world's frontier crypto markets. So how big is blockchain in Japan and in Russia?
Well, Japan's the largest trading company in the world. So 50% of all cryptocurrency trading occurs in Japan. Satoshi Nakamoto, who created the first cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, is rumored to be from Japan, and the Japanese people have really embraced Bitcoin. Something else that's important in Japan is it's the first country to regulate cryptocurrencies, and we're in favor of regulation. We want to keep consumers safe, and so Japan itself has all sorts of needs for some of the software tools that ourselves and some others develop. So when they're regulating cryptocurrency, they need to perform AML and KYC functions. So companies like ours have various software tools that allow them to provide some sort of guarantee against money laundering and things like that. But Japan is a huge market for us. As a company, a good portion of our business is actually done in Japan, and I'll get into that with our new program called Mining as a Service. Russia itself is more of a, part of my management team came from Bitfury, and Bitfury is a Russian company. But in terms of actually mining operations or anything like that in Russia, even though Bitfury is a Russian company, they don't even have operations there. So I don't think the rule of law quite applies there like it does in Canada. So we don't do a lot of work in Russia. We do a lot of work in Japan, though.
Right. Now, Coinbase just announced that they had to fork over 13,000 accounts to the IRS. With taxes becoming a major issue, are blockchain-focused stocks becoming a more viable opportunity than the cryptocurrencies themselves?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's, everything, regulation, taxation, this kind of stuff is still in flux, and it's different all over the world. As I said before, Japan is embracing it. They're creating certain rules and regulations around cryptocurrency, but the United States and Canada and the Western world, we're still trying to figure it out. I think that as it relates to Coinbase and turning stuff over to the IRS, we're believers in people have to pay their taxes. If there's gains, then they should pay capital gains taxes. But at the end of the day, your question about investing in companies that are involved in crypto and blockchain as opposed to investing in the crypto itself, I would absolutely recommend that. Crypto is extremely volatile, unless you're dealing with the top few coins, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash, Ethereum. They're extremely volatile. Even Bitcoin's extremely volatile. So it's not for the faint of heart. The other reason it's important to invest in the companies that either do cryptocurrency mining or some form of blockchain technology development is that it's diversification. So you're not just investing in a coin of some sort. You're investing in a company that may have coins, that may generate coins, but also has different profit centers.
Yeah, and I believe that a perfect example of that would be DMG Blockchain Solutions. And once again, the ticker symbol, which is on your screen right now on the TSX-V, is DMGI, and in the United States, it is DMGGF. And I do want listeners to be aware that the best and most comprehensive research online on DMG Blockchain Solutions can be read in PDF format and studied for serious investors. And it's located at www.pureblockchainwealth.com/chain. You don't have to memorize all that. It's right in the description. It's a clickable link below this video in the description. All right. Dan, I wanted to get into your personal background. So if you could tell me about your background as well as how you were introduced to the blockchain.
Yeah, I'm a traditional entrepreneur, and about 5 years ago, someone asked me to meet with a guy by the name of Chris Filiaccio in Japan. He was supposed to be this Bitcoin guru. And so this is 5 years ago. I looked at Bitcoin and I started trying to understand blockchain, and I didn't understand it. It just wasn't for me. So I decided I'm not going to meet him. Well, about 2 years ago, an opportunity came across my desk. It was a software company that did basically data analytics on the Bitcoin blockchain, and they needed some capital, and they needed to get the product launched. So I finally reached out to Chris Filiaccio in Japan, and I said, I was supposed to meet you 5 years ago. My mistake. I'm looking at this software company. Can you take a look and let me know if you think it's a viable business? So Chris took a look at it. We both ended up investing in the company, and we launched the software in Japan. So about a year and a half ago, it turns out that Chris is also the chairman of Bitmasters, which is a network of tens of thousands of Japanese people that he's been telling to buy Bitcoin for the last 5 or 6 years. So he said to me, Dan, my network buys millions of dollars of Bitcoin every week. I want to start making it. Here's the first $1 million worth of hardware for mining. Go figure out industrial mining in Canada. And so, I have a problem programming the microwave. So what I did was I attracted Sheldon Bennett. Sheldon spent the past 4 years with Bitfury, which is the second largest company in the world as it relates to mining. And his job there was setting up their industrial mining facilities. So the first one that he set up was 58 megawatts for Bitfury. So he came over to run the mining operations. With him came Steve Eliscu, who was head of finance for Bitfury, and also Varun Gupta, who was head of legal for Bitfury. And so we started a small mine in Edmonton. It was 0.5 megawatt. It's still running. It generates a couple $100,000 a month in Bitcoin. And then decided we would, because the demand was there, we would expand. So we're now building out an 85 megawatt facility in British Columbia, which I believe is the largest in North America, specifically for Bitcoin mining. And that's how we started the company.
All right. And I wanted to ask about your company's business model and the profit centers. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I mean, something that's really important is that blockchain and crypto, it's kind of like the internet of 1992, is we all understand it's game changing. I mean, even when Satoshi Nakamoto came up with Bitcoin, the real value in crypto is the underlying technology blockchain, which we consider the automation of trust. In the past, if I wanted to do something, transact with you, I would have to trust you. Or we would have a third party like a bank or an intermediary that basically removes that trust factor. Well, what blockchain does is it creates the automation of trust. It means we don't have to trust each other anymore. Machines take care of that for us. So basically, as a company, we decided to be very diversified. And so obviously we have mining operations on an industrial scale, and it's a lot harder than I thought when I first started this company to build out, an industrial mining facility with 50,000 individual servers. But because of our Japanese customer base, we have access to tens of thousands of individual Japanese people who have been buying Bitcoin and big supporters for the past few years. So I was actually on stage a couple of months ago launching a program we call Mining as a Service. So people want to mine Bitcoin, but they may not have access to the hardware. They may not have the expertise in setting them up. They also, I'm sure their wives don't want them setting them up in the kitchen. They're extremely noisy and they consume a lot of power. So what we do is we allow individuals to purchase an actual miner from us. We host it at one of our facilities. They pay a monthly hosting fee. And then every week they get all the Bitcoin generated by their machines. And what this does is it allows us to scale quickly because the capital cost of building these out is expensive. But this blended model, because half of our machines are owned by the company for the benefit of our shareholders and the company, and then half of our machines are hosted on behalf of third parties for mining as a service, that blended model allows us to scale quickly with less capital, but also allows us and our shareholders to benefit in the appreciation of Bitcoin price. That's one of our profit centers, and that, as I mentioned before, is led by Sheldon Bennett, who's probably the most experienced guy in North America as it relates to setting up industrial mining. But early on, we also recognized that the blockchain itself, remember that blockchain technology, people talk about blockchain this and blockchain that. There's a few very specific applications that make a great deal of sense. And I hope that the viewers understand that there's only ever been one proven successful application built using blockchain technology, and it's cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. So we're still in the very early days, but what we decided to do was, we don't do science projects. Our software team in Canada works with Emerald Health Sciences and with the government, building a supply chain management platform for the medicinal cannabis industry here in Canada. And the whole reason is that blockchain technology, because it's an irrefutable ledger that can never be changed, as a product is moved through the supply chain from the grower to the distribution facility into testing and then finally to the end user, blockchain technology allows us with 100% guarantee that we know the exact provenance of that product as it went through the supply chain. So that's a project that our Vancouver team is building together with Emerald and using IBM's Hyperledger platform. We've recently acquired a company in Palo Alto in Silicon Valley called Blockseer. Now, this company is led by some pretty incredible mathematicians and data scientists. And I'll get into that later, but their project that they're focused on is a combination of artificial intelligence and blockchain. So Element Fleet Management, which is North America's largest leasing company, has a 9.9% stake in DMG blockchain. But their challenge was they've spent millions and hundreds of millions of dollars gathering data. So of all their millions of vehicles, they know how hard a driver presses the brakes. They know how many potholes this guy goes over every month. They know what kind of climate this driver's involved in, mileage, everything. And Element's business model is based on extending the life cycle of a vehicle as much as possible. So what we do is we're building a platform with our BlockSeer team that basically takes all that data and provides predictive analytics so that, with 98% certainty, we can tell Element, or the platform will tell Element, that a driver in a sunny environment that does this with their brakes, and it has a 2016 Toyota Camry, will need brake pads changed next month. And they can get them into the dealership and get that servicing done before it becomes more expensive. So the software side of things, as I mentioned, both are revenue producing, both are ongoing recurring revenues. And then we've talked about our mining. And then finally, we have a forensics division. So part of the acquisition of BlockSeer was the technology BlockSeer, which is used by FBI, CIA, Department of Homeland Security, as well as various exchanges and wallets. And what it does is it basically allows analytics of all transactions that have ever occurred on both Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchains, and allows us to conduct investigations, make sure that wallets have not been used on the dark web or are not being used for money laundering. And we actually have our first clients. That is it's an audit firm, it's an accounting firm that's trying to audit a mining company out of China that's trying to go public. And their challenge is they really don't know that all the coins that this company is generating, are they in fact putting those in the company wallet, or are they being skimmed somewhere? So using our software, BlockSeer software, and our certified fraud examiners, we can figure that out and help these clients. So there's really three main profit centers: our mining ourselves, mining as a service on behalf of other people, our two software platform programs, and then obviously our forensics division.
That sounds amazing. And just to wrap it up, with China's attack on mining operations, would you say that Canada is becoming a Bitcoin mining empire?
Yeah, it's an interesting development that's happened. Currently, 80% of all cryptocurrency mining is done in China. And as you know, and as you mentioned, the Chinese government is wanting to nationalize it. It's a very profitable thing, and they've also got some challenges because of the sheer amount of power that's being taken by Bitcoin mining in China means that they can't get power to certain communities and that type of thing. So we've actually had two groups from China show up at my office. With guys, we have 20,000 machines. Can you guys host them? We want to get them out of China. I've had numerous phone calls. And I think there's a few reasons why Canada has emerged as the destination. First of all, Sheldon Bennett, who's obviously my co-founder, put Canada on the map when he built North America's largest Bitcoin mining facility for Bitfury in Canada a couple of years ago. So that's one reason the eyes were on Canada. The other reason is because Canada comes from a resource history. Investment and the whole Canadian economy and history is built on traditional mining: gold, silver, copper, and the forestry industry, whether it's forestry mills or pulp and paper facilities. And the reason that I mention this is that even though those industries may have disappeared from that particular town, they have the infrastructure for access to large amounts of power that's still there. And so it's not just about the price of power, it's about access to large amounts of power. So Canada has access to power. The other reason that Canada is emerging as a leader is optimally our mining runs best between minus 25 degrees Celsius. Sorry, I don't know the Fahrenheit, and plus 25 degrees Celsius. And where we have our flagship facility, which as I mentioned is 85 megawatts, which, by the way, is enough power to power a city of 100,000 homes. It basically just allows us to it's the temperature. So the climate itself is ideal for mining in terms of cooling and not getting too hot. There's only really 6 weeks a year that it's a little bit too warm to do mining in British Columbia. The final reason why British Columbia and Canada are looked at now globally for cryptocurrency mining is because we have rule of law. I'll get all excited. I'll get a call from some group in Kazakhstan or Siberia, and they'll call us up and they'll say, look, we want to bring your team over to design and construct an industrial facility. They'll pay a lot of money to do so. And I get all excited. I go to Sheldon, who manages our mining. I say, Sheldon, we've got this great opportunity over here. And he'll say, no, Dan. We work in Canada for a specific reason. Some of these countries like Russia, China, Mongolia, some parts of Africa, they may be attractive places to go mining, but you also have oligarchs and warlords that can come and take away these very expensive facilities. I mean, to give you an idea of the facility that we're building now, 85 megawatts, it's about $120 million worth of mining servers. So they're very valuable, and we don't want to be in those situations. So Canada has rule of law. The government doesn't want to just come in and take our machines and turn us off.
Understood. This sounds like a very exciting opportunity for investors to get in on the blockchain technology and to do it in a way that incorporates so many aspects that are exciting for blockchain as a technology, as an emerging technology. With DMG blockchain solutions, you've got Blockseer, you've got the mining as a service model. I believe this is huge. So once again, if people want to get the most comprehensive research online about DMG blockchain solutions, you can read the PDF file or document and you can study that. That's located at www.pureblockchainwealth.com/chain. That link is in the description of this video. It's free, so why not download it and learn more about that. And I've been speaking to Mr. Dan Reitzik, the CEO of DMG Blockchain Solutions, for investors and potential investors out there. Once again, the ticker symbols on the TSX-V exchange is DMGI. In the United States, the ticker symbol is DMGGF. Mr. Reitzik, I've learned a lot today. I'm excited about blockchain technology and specifically about DMG blockchain solutions as an innovator and as an investment, potential investment. You're welcome back anytime, sir, here on Looking at the Markets. Thank you so much, Mr. Reitzik.
Thanks very much for having me.